Broadcasting the whole show live here. It's going to be a fun day. It's an agenda-free Friday live from Brentwood Place. If you want to come down and see us, we ask that you please bring a gently used and clean coat or jacket, maybe some gloves, maybe some cold weather gear, some new socks. We ask that you bring that and donate it. We'll then get it cleaned and distributed through Metro Public Schools. And we're doing it here all day, 9 to 12. So come join us. We hope to see you out here. Mac, how come you weren't at the party last night? What happened to you? I thought you were going to come out.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I was honestly sore from just lifting that big tree in, getting it on the trailer, getting it ready to get to the restaurant. Really wore me out, man.
Dude, I don't know if I could have got that in the trailer without you. So thank you so much.
Anytime, bro. I got you, man.
Yeah. Mac is always there for me. Yeah. He was like, you think you're gonna do that by yourself? He's like, no, bro. I'm gonna step in and help. We appreciate it. If you didn't see the picture of the tree that we're talking about, we had our big Super Talk Live event at Scoreboard at Cedar Creek in Mount Juliet last night. It was an absolute banger of a party, and we thank all the listeners that came out and joined us. But the big talk was the tree that we were bringing, and we definitely turned it into a Christmas party because of the tree. If you didn't see the tree, there's a picture of myself, Murphy, and Mandis on our Facebook page. You can't see us behind the tree. You just can't. The tree's too big. So go check it out. 99.7 WTN on Facebook. We begin the Agenda Free Friday asking you to call in with whatever you may want to talk about. And because I'm live here in Columbia in Brentwood, Mac Morey is going to be manning the phones. And as he's manning the phones, Mac, you are the man in control of where we go. Does that sound like a good plan? Sounds semi-dangerous. All right, so I do. Mac, do you have the audio that I sent you?
I do. I'm working through it right now. Yes. Which one would you need?
So, we'll wait. We'll wait a second before we get to that.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Do you have the Hunter Biden stuff?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll get it for you.
Perfect. I mean, the big news last night while we were at our party, which was crazy, being on the air as this broke live, was that Hunter Biden has now been indicted on 9 tax-related charges, 3 felonies. Yes, I know. It feels like Groundhog's Day with Hunter Biden, but he's been indicted again. 9 charges, including 3 felonies, for allegedly failing to file taxes, evading an assessment, and filing a fraudulent form. It's a 56-page indictment filed in a federal court in Los Angeles yesterday, and it alleges that he spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his taxes. This is all per NBC News. The indictment also alleges that Hunter Biden willfully failed to pay his 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 taxes on time, despite having access to funds to pay some or all of these taxes. And yes, he definitely had access to the funds. Foreign governments were sending him funds. So special counsel David Weiss has brought these charges, and the case was assigned to, and they keep saying this, which makes me a little worried. The case was assigned to a Donald Trump appointee judge, Mark Scarsi. But they're saying it's a Trump-appointed judge, and that's like one of the first things that they're all saying. Oh, don't worry. It was assigned to a Donald Trump-appointed judge, which makes me go, that's a little weird. Why is that the lead, that it was a Donald Trump-appointed judge? Is that supposed to make me feel calm? Is that supposed to make me feel reassured that it's going to be a fair trial? Because all it does is make me go, it's a little fishy. It's a little fishy when you lead with that. I don't really care who the judge was appointed by. I just want a fair and impartial judge. And when they say that the judge was appointed by Trump, that makes me go, maybe it's not the best judge. That's the lead. I haven't heard of this guy before, but the first thing you tell me is that he's appointed by Donald Trump. Seems a little fishy. But they're saying that this could lead to more charges. That's what CBS was reporting, that more Hunter charges could be coming, and this is what they said last night on CBS. So this is more Hunter charges to come, Mac.
Now, you mentioned there could be more charges. What makes you think that?
It's just my reading of the document in the first page. I think the language is that they describe him as a lobbyist. lobbyists have to register under what's called FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which is a government way of saying that if you're working on behalf of foreign interests, you have to tell the U.S. government. In this case, the indictment spends a lot of time talking about Hunter Biden's business deals with the Ukraine energy firm Burisma. It also talks about his work with a Chinese energy firm, CEFC, and it also talks about his work with Romania. And that, to me, seems to leave the door open to potential FARA violations. I also would add that there has been some reporting subpoenas have been issued for his business partner, the president's brother, James Biden, and that would go to the idea of FARA, working together, lobbying on behalf of foreign interests. Now, we say all of that, but their position has been that he accepts responsibility for this period in his life, but they've in no way admitted that they have been lobbying on behalf of those entities.
Right. So there could be more charges coming. They're saying that Joe Biden's brother, James Biden, is also being subpoenaed. Let's see what happens. Do you have any faith that Hunter Biden is actually going to face justice for this? I feel like I've been burned too many times at this point. I do. But what do you think? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I want to talk about that. Also, there was a big interview last night that Tucker Carlson released with Alex Jones. Did you see this, Mac?
I haven't seen this yet. I mean, I know that it was coming up. I didn't know it was already released.
I mean, Alex Jones, I don't know about you. I've known about him for a while. Alex Jones has done a lot of predictions over the years. He does it in a wild way, but he's scary accurate on a lot of his predictions, whether it's the chemicals in the water turning the frogs gay. He screams it, he yells it, and then it turns out, there's actually chemicals in the water that does turn the frogs gay. Weird. And one of his predictions that was insane was that in July of 2001, he predicted the 9/11 terror attacks, and he predicted that it would be blamed on Osama bin Laden. How could this guy do that? Now, I know that he's been demonized for years in the media because of his take on Sandy Hook. And I'm not here to defend everything Alex Jones says, but he's gotten a lot right over the years. And when you make a lot of bold predictions, when you take a lot of bold stances, you're going to get things wrong, and you're going to be off a lot. I'm not defending his Sandy Hook stuff, but he's been demonized because of that. And I highly recommend everybody watch this interview because it's really telling that Alex Jones isn't the same guy that the media tells you he is. The media tells you he's an evil conspiracy theorist nut. But when he's talking to Tucker Carlson, he seems very level-headed and, dare I say, normal enough. And, he was one of the first guys to be deplatformed from the internet, completely taken offline. A lot of people thought there was a test run for Donald Trump, the way Alex Jones had been deplatformed. And we saw after the fact that Alex Jones, after Alex Jones was deplatformed, that Trump was taken off social media as well. At the same time, you have, terrorists can have Twitter accounts. Mullahs can cheer on the October 7th terrorist attack in Israel, and they get to have their Twitter accounts. They get to have free speech, but Alex Jones doesn't. And Tucker has this take. Why is he the first man to be deplatformed? So this is clip one under Tucker Alex Jones, Mac. Clip one, the first man to be deplatformed was Alex Jones. Why?
He was the first media figure in our history to be completely erased in one day, deplatformed. Alex Jones was deplatformed before it was a common term. And not just deplatformed, sued, attacked. They attempted to criminally charge him. What did Alex Jones do wrong? Alex Jones didn't rape anybody. He didn't loot Macy's. He didn't burn a police station. He didn't invent a fake cryptocurrency and loot pension funds. He didn't start a pointless war that made this country poorer and more disorganized. He didn't open the southern border. No, Alex Jones had opinions that deeply rattled the people who run America. In fact, rattled a lot of us. And I'll just confess that I first heard of Alex Jones when he questioned the official story behind 9/11. And I, speaking for myself, was deeply offended by this.
You know, that was actually the first time that I had heard of Alex Jones. I think it was like 2002. I remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. I was in 8th grade. But I do remember in 9th and 10th grade being in high school on Infowars.com and being drawn to this crazy guy saying things that nobody else was saying. It was kind of like, you know, my first steps into the world of rabbit holes and hearing somebody that just doesn't swallow mainstream media talking points. I don't know if anybody else had this same kind of experience, but I remember in 2003 going, whoa, who is this guy? And why is he saying the things he's saying? And I remember being fascinated by it. And it's one of those things that kind of got me to start questioning official narratives. And as I've grown older and I've questioned official narratives, it seems like many times the government lies about a lot. And you can go down the list with declassified documents. You can think about the Gulf of Tonkin incident that got us involved in the Vietnam War. That was proven to be a lie. It cost a lot of lives of Americans. So when I heard somebody questioning the narratives, I thought, I want to hear more from this guy. And I like Alex Jones. I don't think he's the evil boogeyman that the media has made him out to be. Does he say outlandish, wild things that I don't agree with? Yes. But so do Democrats. So did Democrats say wild, outlandish things I don't agree with all the time. You know, so I don't think that we should have deplatformed Alex Jones because he said things that hurts people's feelings. You know, he offended so many people. He's offended tons of people. I get that. But that's free speech, baby. Like, you're allowed to offend people. You're allowed to use your words however you may feel. Now, I have more clips from this Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson interview that I think is fascinating. And I want to play him for you. But I also want to give you the floor. So anything you want to talk about, we can talk about. 615-737-9986. It's an agenda-free Friday here on the Chris Hand Show. And we're doing the show today live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. Well, while we're talking about the wildest man in conspiracy theories, along with one of the men that has also been deplatformed, Tucker Carlson, while we're talking about the news of the day with Hunter Biden being charged and indicted, I want to get your takes on all these things, plus talk about anything we may have missed at 615-737-9986. And we can talk about it in person. We're broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're doing a holiday coat drive. So we're asking that if you do want to come by and talk to us, you want to come by, hang out, please bring a gently used, clean coat or jacket, gloves, some cold weather gear, perhaps buy some new socks to donate as well. There's some really good deals also while we're here at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. So come see us. We're down here in Brentwood, live on the Chris Hand Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got some road work, and it is causing a slowdown in Bedford County. You got 24 eastbound between the Rutherford and Bedford County line and Beech Grove, Highway 64, exit 97. The president's son facing potentially decades in prison. Hear what his attorney says. Tunnels under Gaza being taken out in the hunt for Hamas. These stories and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Prison. That's what I want for Christmas. Hunter Biden, decades in prison. Wouldn't that be awesome? Maybe if we all wish for it, Santa can deliver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, broadcasting live, Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're doing a really cool thing today. We have a holiday coat drive happening right now. We're asking that you come see us at Brentwood Place, Columbia Sportswear. Bring a gently used coat. My wonderful wife went around, and shout out to all of our friends in Murfreesboro. She went around last night with the kids and went to all of these friends' houses and picked up a gang of coats. So thank you, Virginia, for doing that, because we've already started off strong because of her. But we need to finish strong, and we need that to happen because of you. So get down here, Brentwood Place, bring your coats, buy some socks while you're here so you can donate those too. And there's tons of good deals on all sorts of things here at Columbia Sportswear, so you can get a little shopping done while you're at it. In the meantime, it's an agenda-free Friday. We can talk about anything you want to talk about at 615-737-9986. Lindsay in Pleasant Shade is on the line, and she wants to give Mac Maury a little grief for not coming to our party last night. What's up, Lindsay?
Yes, sir, I do. But as it turns out, I got to grieve on you a little bit, too. Do not change your bumper music. Yes, sir.
I wasn't going to change it. I was just going to add to it.
No. It will hurt all the psychotic people out there, and I'm not one of them. But it will.
Good to know.
I know what time of the morning it is by your bumper music.
I just want to.
Now, I will allow you to have a Christmas sabbatical.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
You could Christmas it up, and then you put it right back to how it was. No changing.
All right. Well, I think I don't know. I got to add a couple. I got to add a couple new tunes.
Oh, okay. But you add them on your own time. You don't take away the old ones.
No, I will not take away the old ones. I promise.
Okay. Now we're square. And that was the best party ever.
Well, we had so much fun, didn't we? At Scoreboard last night. Mac wasn't there.
I was the gorgeous girl in the white sweater that gave you Christmas cards.
Amen.
I
don't even know if Mackie baby got his.
We were flustered as soon as you showed up, Lindsay. I don't know if you know that. We all stumbled over the break as soon as we saw you walk in.
I know it. I was Cinderella, man. And Mackie wasn't there to tell me the secret that he owed me, so he's getting roasted right now. He owed me the secret of what happened to Michael Del Giorno, and he owed me a hug. And I don't even know if he's got his Christmas card. Ken Weaver, did you get your Christmas card?
I've been too bad, Lindsay.
Did you even read yours, Chris?
I read it. It was the 3D card. I have Max, too. I'm not in the studio today, but I will deliver it to him, I promise.
All I can see in my mailbox, Lindsay, is dust from coal.
Well, yours said that you are the funniest man on the radio.
Checks in the mail.
And since Mackie wasn't there, he should have got the snowman, not the one that had the Christmas tree in the back of the truck with Santa coming along.
Or the one chasing Biden's son, Hunter.
Yeah. And poor Ken, since he's the news deliverer, also got the one that said, by the way, hello to everybody else that didn't get a card. I met new friends at that party, so shout out to the Mandis fans that shared our table, and that was an awesome venue. And do you guys know that nobody in the room can actually hear you when you're broadcasting?
The people
My
can hear
husband kept
us.
saying, "Oh, this will make you feel bad, Mac." He got up while it was dark, went to work, came home after dark, got me there by 6, paid for some drinks and some pizza, drove me home, and today is his birthday, and I still don't have the secret of Del Giorno. Now, that makes you a little bit cold. So you should have not got the card with the tree. You should have got the snowman.
Hey, we appreciate the call, Lindsay. Thank you so much. And I do want to defend Mac. You know, he was helping me lift the Christmas tree.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what to say.
So he hurt his back. He couldn't make it. The tree was huge. Huge.
Huge.
Huge. Huge. Not.
And there was an owl in it.
There was an owl in it. Yeah, there was
Yes.
owls and squirrels and critters. 9:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver with the news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes, and legal experts say these 9 new charges against Hunter Biden could result in decades in prison if there are convictions. Pierre Thomas says Hunter's attorneys are pushing back.
Last night, attorney Abby Lowe released this statement to ABC News saying, quote, based on the facts and the law, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought.
Yeah, these charges accuse Hunter Biden of hiding $1.4 million on things like drugs, escorts, and adult entertainment as business expenses. Israel-Hamas war. James Longman reports there are explosions in northern Gaza as tunnels and other Hamas infrastructure are destroyed.
A U.S. official tells ABC News Israel is considering pumping seawater into the tunnels below Gaza, hoping to degrade Hamas capabilities. But that could also destroy filters that provide drinking water to civilians.
IDF says they've breached Hamas defense lines in Gaza's second largest city, Khan Yunis. And that's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. We know that diversification is an important part of the investing process, but how do you reduce risk of a portfolio through diversification? Well, you use correlations. Now think of bathing suit sales and suntan oil sales. They tend to move together, right? Think of bathing suit sales versus winter coat sales. More dissimilar movement, and that's the idea. But why is diversification so important? Well, think about it this way. Everybody would like to have this happen with their investments. They just go straight up. But what we know is this is really what tends to happen. Markets may go way up and then down, or down then way up. Now let's say if we isolate parts of that curve right there, and the first curve right there, and the second curve right there. If you're putting money away for retirement, every time you put money in, if this is what's going on, you're buying more shares. Then just before you retire, the market goes up, you're really happy. If on the other hand, you keep paying a higher and higher price, and then the market goes down, you're really sad. And we can't choose what's going to happen with the market next. But what we can do is what we know through academic research, and there are Nobel Prizes awarded for this, is we can look for things that tend to move in dissimilar fashion. And what happens when we do that, we can reduce the volatility of the portfolio, hence bringing those curves in. Now that's the idea. Now if you want to learn more about our approach to investing in financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, where we're doing a holiday coat drive. So excited to be able to do this with you guys. And I'm joined now by Andrea, who's here live at Columbia Sportswear. And this is like a charity that is near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, this is my baby.
So tell me about your baby.
So Unicycle is actually a nonprofit that was founded to help funnel into the Metro Public Schools, which is really awesome. What they do is they fill their hero closets in the schools with gently used clothes and stuff like that, so that those kids that are homeless or in unstable housing can go in and just let those counselors know, hey, I need a coat or I need anything, and then that's there.
And you guys have been getting coats all week long.
Yeah, I think the last count that I had, we were about halfway to our goal, and I would love to double our goal at this point. So I'm super excited.
What is your goal, and where are we at right now?
Our original goal was 200, and we're already at 100, but I would love to get further than that for sure.
So I don't know if you know this about the WTN listeners, but the WTN listeners show up and show out every time we ask them. So we're asking you now to bring a gently used coat, winter wear, gloves, and maybe buy some socks to donate. To a child in need. It's all going to benefit Metro Nashville Public Schools.
Exactly.
And you can come down here to Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. How did you find out about this charity, and how did you get involved with Unicycle?
So we do a program called Community Cares here in the store, and I partnered with a nonprofit to do a giveaway basket, and they actually introduced me to them. It was the American League that actually helps all of the school nonprofits here in town out of Brentwood. And they said, hey, why don't you partner with Unicycle for your coat drive, which I was super excited about. And I met the founder, Jamie, and she is the most incredible human ever. And she has a passion for this and the kids of Metro. So it was kind of one of those know somebody that knows somebody. Yeah. And then I fell in love with their mission of just using gently used clothes to recycle them, which is how it's Unicycle. So
I love it because it seems like such a small act. But it's the pebble in the water and it ripples out huge. One of the first things that I did to ever get involved with WTN is my daughter was involved in a coat drive. Mm-hmm. We had organized it, and I wasn't even working there yet. I had done radio before, and I kind of wanted to help my daughter get like a good job, pat on the back. So I called Dan, and Dan was like, "Yeah, we'll use it for a commercial." We got an audio with her, and it's so cool for it to come full circle now, where we're doing this again. And I love helping out kids in need and helping out. It seems so small, but it's so huge to a kid that doesn't have a coat.
Yeah, I was told a story. Jamie told me a story actually last time we met when we were doing something, and she said she got an email from one of the professors at one of the schools, and one of the girls came in and she needed a coat, gave it to her, and then the next day one of her friends was like, your coat's so cute. Oh my gosh, I wish I had one. Then the next day they were able to give that little girl, her friend, the same coat. So they have the same matching coats, and they were so excited because it was coats that they never would have been able to get, but Unicycle was able to get them coats so they could stay warm this year, which was super awesome.
That is so cool. I love that. It's like that, and a child that doesn't have a coat, for that to be like, wow, now they're proud of it. They're excited about it. And to be able to do that is so cool. So we're asking you guys to come join us down here. Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. You can bring a gently used coat. You can bring winter wear. And you guys are selling socks.
We have socks. We have blankets. They're also in need of blankets, too. And they're actually on sale. The whole store is on sale. So definitely a good time to come in and give to those in need for sure.
Donate, do some holiday shopping, and join us. Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, Tennessee. Thank you, Andrea, for having us out here. We really appreciate it, and we love the opportunity to give back. Yes. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we're here, and we're asking you to join us as well. We're at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, and we're going to be here until noon, but the coat drive is happening all weekend long, correct?
The coat drive is actually till the 17th.
Oh, my gosh.
So you got time.
You got time, but we want you here today so that way you can come out and see us. It's also an agenda-free Friday on the show, so we can talk about anything you want to talk about. And if you come here now with a gently used coat, I'll put you on the air. You can be sitting in Andrea's seat if you're watching on Super Talk TV, and we'll get you on the radio to talk about anything you want to talk about, like, Hunter Biden being indicted, like the Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones interview, anything you want, or we can just stick to the mission at hand, which is getting gently used coats for kids in need, benefiting Metro Nashville Public Schools.
Yes.
So cool. We're so happy to be here. Thank you for letting us partner with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It is 615-737-9986. If you want to join into the Chris Hand Show, it's an agenda-free Friday. We ask that you let us know what you want to talk about. The news cycle is so crazy, and it's been moving so fast. there's always something that we miss. 615-737-9986. I do want to get back to what we were talking about earlier, the Alex Jones Tucker Carlson interview. A lot of people don't like Alex Jones. In fact, I got a text here, and it was, let me see. Oh, man, we got text coming in fast and heavy. Was it 4559? Was that who it was? Mac? Oh, yeah, here. Come on, Chris. Alex Jones is a POS. He was sued and lost a huge case that the Sandy Hook families brought against him. Google it. Educate yourself. Listen, I don't think that all of Alex Jones' predictions are great. I don't defend everything Alex Jones says, but I will defend his right to say it. Everybody has the right to free speech in this country. Everyone. And the internet is the new public square. But Alex Jones was one of the first people to be deplatformed, completely deplatformed. And a lot of people think that that was a test case for what they ended up inevitably doing to President Trump. He was the first man to be deplatformed. Mac, if you can play clip 1 from Tucker Alex Jones, the first man to be deplatformed. Why?
He was the first media figure in our history to be completely erased in one day, deplatformed. Alex Jones was deplatformed before it was a common term. And not just deplatformed, sued, attacked. They attempted to criminally charge him. What did Alex Jones do wrong? Alex Jones didn't rape anybody. He didn't loot Macy's. He didn't burn a police station. He didn't invent a fake cryptocurrency and loot pension funds. He didn't start a pointless war that made this country poorer and more disorganized. He didn't open the southern border. No, Alex Jones had opinions that deeply rattled the people who run America. In fact, rattled a lot of us. And I'll just confess that I first heard of Alex Jones when he questioned the official story behind 9/11. And I, speaking for myself, was deeply offended by this.
And I think that it's fair to say Alex Jones rattles a lot of people. But I think that's his right. Like Tucker said, he doesn't hurt anybody. He hasn't committed any crimes. The crime that he's committed is saying the wrong things and making people feel a type of way. And the media demonized him. So Tucker says he was offended about 9/11. A lot of people were initially uncomfortable about the opinions and the predictions from Alex Jones. Let's play clip 2, Mac.
I didn't take any time to find out what he was saying, but I was bothered by the idea that this defining event in American history, which changed the life of everyone who lived here then, might not actually have unfolded as we were told it did. And that possibility was too destabilizing. And I remember feeling resentment toward Alex Jones for saying that. But several years later, I wound up in Austin, Texas, and through a chain of circumstances, wound up meeting Alex Jones. And I learned what everyone who has met him now knows, which is Alex Jones is not a crazy person. Alex Jones has said pretty far out things on TV from time to time.
Fair enough.
Not that far out. He hasn't said men can become women or Ukraine is a democracy, but within the bounds of, say, cable news, pretty far out. But fundamentally, Alex Jones is right about a lot of things. And in fact, that's why they don't like him.
And he has been right about a lot of things. You know, there's the meme on the internet where he's screaming, you know, they're turning the frogs gay. But then there's, you know, proven data that shows that chemicals in the water have, in fact, turned frogs gay. Now, I'm not going to defend the Sandy Hook stuff. I get that it was lousy what he did. I get that he was sued. But he's made a lot of uncanny predictions. Mac, clip 3.
An uncanny, really an amazing ability to predict events before they happen. He has called it, and he's done it on tape again and again, to the point where it's a meme on the internet. Alex Jones, prophet, not conspiracy nut, prophet. But when you dig into Alex Jones's predictions, they are so spot on that it's remarkable. How does he do this? We're guessing there's a kind of spiritual sensitivity to Alex Jones. Maybe that's his secret. He was displaying this years before the average person in this country even thought about matters like that. Now it's pretty obvious to most people that the current war going on in this country is taking place in ways you can't see it most of the time. But 10 years ago, people were not thinking that way. Alex Jones was.
Alex Jones has been ahead of the curve time after time. He predicted a lot. He predicted the Ukraine war in February. He predicted 9/11 in July of 2001. And Tucker says that the people that run the country right now made him a pariah intentionally because of his predictions. Mac, clip 4.
the people around the country have really succeeded in making you disreputable. And the whole point, of course, is people won't listen to you. So we thought it'd be interesting to start with a series of on-tape predictions that you made, some of which are so precise and so prescient that it makes the hair on my arms stand up. And I'm being sincere, and our viewers are about to see what I'm talking about. Here is a list of things that you called ahead of time.
By the middle of September, that the new policy is being written, you will all have to wear masks again, and so will airport employees.
It's happening. Mask mandates are officially back.
We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners, Baltimore Sun, or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s,
this group and its leader, a person named Osama bin Laden,
he's the boogeyman they need. We're looking at a giant war in February right now. I predict the Russians are going to roll in. They're already there. They're going to roll in.
With attacks across Ukraine, which is the size of Texas.
It really was the Iraqis. That's just because they're getting ready to invade Iraq. And what a beautiful setup.
The predictions are wild. And he's got a list of them. That was such a short list. But how on earth did he call 9/11 in July of 2001? How on earth did he name Osama bin Laden in July of 2001? It's crazy. I remember being in 8th grade when 9/11 happened, and by the time I hit 10th grade, I was on InfoWars. I'm not going to lie to you. And I was clicking these links and wondering, who is this man that speaks out against mainstream media? What do you think about Alex Jones? 615-737-9986. Do you think that he's been intentionally demonized? Do you think he should be allowed back on Twitter? Well, that's where a lot of the conversation went last night online. Elon Musk chimed in on that conversation as well. I want you to chime in on the conversation. Plus, I have more audio from the Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones interview. So hang out with us. It's 9:51 on the Chris Hand Show, broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, where we are asking you to bring gently used coats, winter wear, and donate them so that way we can distribute them to Metro Nashville Public Schools. We're going to be here till noon. Come hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Talking about decades in prison if there are convictions on the new charges Hunter Biden is facing. This story and more coming up at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Forget, guys, it's an agenda-free Friday. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. 615-737-9986. And we're doing the show live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're having a holiday coat drive benefiting Unicycle, Metro Nashville Public Schools. We ask that you come by, donate a gently used coat, some winter wear, maybe buy some socks that are on sale here at Columbia Sportswear so that we can donate them and we can hook up some kids at Metro Nashville Public Schools. It's a good cause, and we hope that you can be a part of this. The coat drive, though, if you can't make it out today, will be going on until the 17th. So you will have more opportunities to stop by Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood to donate and make a difference this holiday season. Again, I want to thank my wife for driving around Murfreesboro last night to all of my children's friends' houses to grab gently used coats. She's an angel, and I really appreciate what she did because we got to bring in some coats and kick this thing off right. Now, they're halfway to their goal. Their goal is 200 coats. I think that's rookie numbers. I think the WTN audience can come in and double, triple that.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
Come on.
Easy. Are you kidding? 200 coats. I feel like we can do that in an hour or so.
Yes.
So come see us at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. Bring a gently used coat, and let's make some miracles happen this holiday season. We know that you guys will come through for us because you've proved it time and time again. So thank you. We appreciate you. And please come see us at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're going to be here till noon. Coat drive goes on until the 17th. Now, we are talking about Alex Jones. He was on with Tucker Carlson last night. What do you think about Alex Jones? I want your opinion. 615-737-9986. I don't think he's that bad. Does he say some crazy things? Yes. Yes, of course he does. Does he deserve to be deplatformed for saying something we don't like? No. Of course he doesn't. In fact, I think that the biggest thing about free speech is being able to say stuff people don't like. That's the First Amendment. Say something people don't like. The conversation got crazy online last night after this dropped. The conversation between Tucker and Alex Jones was crazy. I got more audio from that interview, plus I want to cover the conversation that happened online, including what Elon Musk thinks about letting Alex Jones back on Twitter. That could be happening, and if and when it does, mainstream media heads will explode. We'll talk about all that and more live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, where we're asking you to bring gently used coats to benefit Unicycle and Metro Nashville Public Schools. Come hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ten o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And right now, part of I-24 in Rutherford and Bedford County is shut down for a crash. The Rutherford County Sheriff's Department says deputies are rerouting traffic at the Buchanan Road exit onto Highway 4170. They ask that you please be patient. This crash is affecting 24 going toward Chattanooga. Full forecast in 2 minutes. The new charges against President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, could mean a decade or more in prison for spending $1.4 million on himself when it should have gone to the IRS.
The indictment is the latest consequence of Hunter Biden's plea deal falling apart this past summer. Under that deal, the Justice Department agreed not to prosecute a gun charge, and Hunter Biden would plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax violations. After the deal disintegrated, Weiss, the U.S. attorney from Delaware appointed by President Trump, indicted Biden on the gun charge in September, and last night he made good on his threat to pursue tax charges.
So far, no comment from the White House. Officials in Atlanta are crediting Good Samaritans with helping save Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home from an apparent arson attempt. Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shirebaum.
That action saved an important part of American history.
2 tourists from Utah happened by Dr. King's birth home. They saw a woman pouring gasoline on the windows and bushes of the house. They intervened when they saw her pick up a lighter. And then 2 off-duty NYPD officers who had been visiting the center restrained the woman until police arrived. Family members are telling the ABC affiliate in Atlanta the suspect is a veteran who is suffering from a mental health crisis. Right now in the Middle East, U.S. and Iraqi officials say a rocket attack targeted the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad this morning. They blame Iranian-backed militants. No casualties reported. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Today's show happened because I saw a comment. He said, why don't you do something on doves and dove fields and how to find them and things like that. So
yeah, all right.
Good idea. It's past the opening day, but like you said, it can work.
Yeah.
Because the season is long. It runs for 90 days, and there's 3 segments, so we're going to cover all that today. Let's rattle off the season. September 1 through September 28th is the first segment of Dove, and then October 14th through November 5th, and then December 8th through January 15th. 15 is your bag limit. So September 1 is opening day, and that's at noon in Tennessee.
September 1st has been one of those days. I mean, you'll see guys, I mean, they'll take off work, have big cooking and getting together with friends, and it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
Historically, it's a huge social event. I'd say the majority of the hunters probably hunt opening day, opening weekend, and then won't pick up a shotgun until next year. So,
we have 2 other segments besides this one, running in October, and then even all the way through, January 15th. There's a lot of opportunity throughout the year.
On our website, tnwildlife.org, on our homepage, you can click the button there to dove hunting, info, and fields is what the button's titled. It's got all the information on dove hunting. You can find the fields there. So let's talk about how to find a field. You click on Region 2, it pulls up the options that are available, and get down to Bark Camp Barrens, and you see it's open statewide. So the hunting's not over there. There's still opportunity. Even though we had a big opening day, let it die down a little bit and get back in there. You're going to have some good hunting, I think, there, sounds like, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
.10:04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand. My name is Chris Hand. We're live at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. I'm reading all these texts that are coming in, and I just got to say thank you guys for chiming in on the conversation. A lot of people don't like Alex Jones. A lot of people don't. Somebody said, where was it? I mean, they're coming in so fast, Mac. So fast.
It's crazy.
I mean, everybody has an opinion on him one way or another. All right, I think it was 1585. He said, I made the point that Alex Jones hurt people's feelings when it came to the Sandy Hook thing. 1585 says, hurts people's feelings. You got a gift for understatement. I'm sorry, what else did he do? He said some things on his show that a lot of people didn't agree with. He was sued over it. But that's what he did. He hurt people's feelings. And I'm sorry. Are we not allowed to question official narratives? I mean, if we swallowed the official narrative of what happened at the Covenant school shooting and we took the official narrative, we would have never found out that the shooter was anti-white, that the shooter was targeting the school, anti-Christian. You know, after the manifesto was released, all of our suspicions were almost confirmed. Yeah, Alex Jones hurt people's feelings because he questioned the official narrative of an event. Last time I checked, it's still America. You're allowed to question official narratives. However, some people do agree with Alex and like him. A lot of people think that he's got the right to say whatever he wants. That's what Bill texted in and said. 7679 says no on Alex Jones here. He lost me. And listen, 7679, I totally get you not liking him as a person, but does that mean that he should be deplatformed? Does that mean that he should have his voice taken away? Does that mean he shouldn't be allowed on social media, or that he should have his bank account shut down? Because I totally think that you have the right to say it's a no on Alex Jones for me, but I don't think that the government and big tech has a right to say it's a no on Alex Jones for everyone. I think that that's the difference. I think that's the difference. Now, one of the things he did was he's predicted events over and over correctly. The invasion of Ukraine. He predicted 9/11 in July of 2001. Now, go to Tucker Alex 2 for me, Mac. Clip 1 in Tucker Alex 2. Tucker asks him, after your 9/11 prediction, did the FBI call you? And no, the FBI didn't call him after his 9/11 prediction, because why would the FBI do something like investigate? Weird, right? The FBI do an investigation? Of course not. Of course not. But, as they're going back and forth, Tucker predicted it. Alex Jones predicted it in July of 2001. Tucker asks him, how? How did this happen? He brings up the fact that he had lots of info. It wasn't a random prediction. He said he had hundreds of data points that he used. But Tucker asked him, did the FBI call you after your 9/11 prediction? Clip 1.
So you called it in public on tape. Did the 9/11 Commission... So if I'm the FBI and I'm investigating 9/11, you're like the first guy I would call, because you're the only person who said that out loud. Did they call you?
No, they didn't. But my most accurate prediction, going back over a decade, was when I read the Rockefeller Foundation Operation Lockstep, and they described using a virus to bring in world government, to bring in a world medical ID, that they would then build the social credit score off of, and that they would make people wear masks for fear, and that they would shut down sporting events and things like that, and basically phase in this new tyranny. So I was also able to specifically make that prediction over and over and over again, because I was going off their own battle plans.
Are you the only person in media who actually reads these reports?
I don't think a lot of people do read them, but I do read them.
So he reads their own reports. He's a professional tea leaf reader. He's a professional dot connector, And I like to keep my eyes on a lot of these reports. And anybody that was paying attention on the lead up to COVID could have called that. I don't think that was... He did have an accurate prediction, but there were a couple people calling it at the same time. But that FBI not calling him after his 9/11 prediction, weird. So he says he reads a lot. He reads these reports. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was, well, you're reading these things. What's next? What is your next prediction? Clip 2, Mac.
Currently reading MIT reports from their top counsels, Pentagon reports. They have a working group called the Mad Scientist Group at the Pentagon that works with MIT. And if you go watch their hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long meetings they have on YouTube with all the tops, we're talking hundreds of top scientists, they admit that they're building a post-human world, that soon everyone's going to be mind-controlled, that they're going to put smart dust in our food that they can electromagnetically control, and they just lay it all out right there.
It's insane, because you hear him say smart dust and you go, well, what is he talking about? Well, smart dust refers to wireless networks of sub-millimeter scale autonomous computing and sensing platforms, and they're not larger than a grain of sand. Smart dust senses and records data about its environment, such as light, temperature, sound, presence, toxins, vibrations. It transmits that data wirelessly to large computer systems. So when you hear him say something like that, smart dust, if you've never heard it before, you think he sounds crazy. But there's a lot of truth to what he says. Smart dust is a vision of a networked future where you're going to have intelligent networks of trillions of minuscule sensors that continuously will feel, taste, smell, see, and hear what's going on in their surrounding environment, and then communicate with each other and exchange information. That's smart dust. Smart dust networks are the ultimate Internet of Things device. And the Internet of Things is, that using your Alexa and your Ring doorbell and, creating a vast network of internet through these devices. The Internet of Things refers to the network of physical objects, your devices, your vehicles, your equipment, your buildings that are connected to the internet and then can collect and exchange data using sensors and other technologies. So the Internet of Things will be much more powerful with smart dust in the system. And to me, it's fascinating. I don't always think that Alex Jones is right. There's a lot I don't agree with, but there's something about getting your thoughts going in a different direction where I may not have done any research on smart dust before I heard Alex Jones say it. It wouldn't have been in my orbit or in my thought process. So he just reads the tea leaves. Clip 3, Mac. Let's play that one next. This is what Alex does. He reads the tea leaves.
And I've learned what these people said in the 50s they would do were done by the 70s. What they said their plan was in the 70s for the 90s, they got done. And then when they had their Agenda 21 in Rio de Janeiro in 1992, the big UN summit, they described everything they would do up until the year 2000, and they got almost all of that done. And now they've got Agenda 2030, and we're going to ban your gas stoves, we're going to ban beef, we're going to ban single-family dwellings, we're going to ban private ownership of cars. We're going to do all this, and now you see them rolling it all out. So I'm not really making predictions in these high-level World Economic Forum and other large think tank groups. They are laying out the future, and they're high priests of the World Economic Forum. That's a consortium of all these groups. Yuval Noah Harari, you can read his quotes. The future's not human. The human era is over. The public is useless. I mean, this is a very anti-human system. So that's how I'm able to make predictions, because they've given us a roadmap. They tell us where they want to take us.
It's fascinating to me. And I don't know if he's right about everything, but he definitely gets me thinking. 4559 texted in and said, "Smart dust? Are you kidding me? Ha 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 ha. Alex is a nut job and very dangerous." 4559, I would love for you to just do some research on smart dust. Like, it's a thing. It's a real thing. Matt, can you fact check that the way you fact check snow for me?
Right away.
I mean, but it's smart dust. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory. Just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it's not real. There are plenty of things that you haven't heard of. He said, go and buy some of his vitamins. Lordy, snake oil. Thanks, 4559. I'm not going to buy the vitamins. But I just think that you cannot be the biggest fan of somebody and still listen and not get upset about it. I don't think that Alex Jones is the boogeyman that he's been made out to be. That doesn't mean I think he's right about everything, but it doesn't mean I think he's evil. It's important to be able to have these discussions and have ideas that you don't agree with and be able to talk about them. I think that that's important. We should have these ideas. And one of the things that I think is the most dangerous is that he was deplatformed for his ideas, really. He was deplatformed because he says things that are outside the realm of the media consensus. You should be able to say that. If he was just being a crazy person, they wouldn't have deplatformed him. They deplatformed him because he says a lot of the right things. So I love where the interview went with Tucker and, what happens next. We have a presidential election on the way. In clip 4, Mac, Tucker asks Alex Jones what he thinks will happen in the presidential election, which is less than a year away.
You look at the trajectory of this, how they're escalating on Trump, whether you love him or hate him. He's now a populist icon. He's now the underdog. The globalists are coming after him. They're coming after our right to vote for who we want. He gets 60% against
which is the fundamental right in a democracy. The people rule. I can vote for whomever I want. And if you don't like that person, that's immaterial.
Absolutely.
Right?
And he's been indicted for saying they're stealing elections. They're stealing it.
Oh, I'm aware.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
In their indictments of him is
Absolutely.
election theft, but yes.
But despite that, he's got 60% against all other Republicans. He's 15, 20 points ahead of Biden. It's backfired, but the deep state's not going to stop. So what you said to Trump several times in that 400 million views or whatever you got, biggest show ever, you said to him, well, isn't the next thing them trying to kill you? And he's so confident he doesn't want to think about that. And
he doesn't want to think about it.
Whereas I admire someone that's that confident. The deep state does kill people, and that's their only next move because this is failing. And I think they're going to kill Biden too.
He said, I think they're going to kill Biden, too. Yikes. Let's go to Steve in the borough. He has some thoughts on Alex Jones. He's been hanging on the line for a minute. Hey, Steve, you're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Steve?
So, first of all, thanks for talking to me. I'm actually friends with Alex. He and I used to do Access TV together in the mid to late 90s in Austin. We stay in touch. I'm not as close to him as I once was. We text just family stuff now mostly, or occasionally maybe I think there's a guest he might be interested in that I'll help get on the show, like friends of mine or something like that. But I can speak more to what he was, how I knew him in the 90s. We don't talk politics or anything like that now. But back then, you sort of touched on something. You said whether you like him or not, he makes you think. And you touched on sort of the one element that I tell people about Alex that he's better at than anybody I've ever seen or certainly known in my life, and that is he forces people to think, sometimes for the first time in their lives, right? Like, we're so used to just getting sort of spoon-fed things, and we accept it, and we sort of try our best to be informed and that sort of thing. But it's really easy to get caught up in that and just sort of believe it. But he forces you to a spot where you have to ask questions and you have to think, and that usually puts people on very opposite ends of the spectrum of each other, right? You either are totally believing something or you don't. But he forces you to think, and he's better at it than anybody I've ever seen, and I think it's his best talent.
No, I agree with that, and he's made me think many times. And I don't agree with everything, but I don't agree with everything that my wife says. I don't agree with everything that my mom says. Like, I don't think there's anybody on the planet that you're ever going to look at and be like, I agree with everything you say all the time, 100%. And I think that's fair. That's just being human. Why do you think people have such a negative, visceral reaction to anything he says?
It's widespread virtue signaling. So you talked about the deplatforming, and you and I would probably disagree on this. I think it's perfectly fine if private companies deplatform him. If they want to not do bank accounts with him, that's their business, their private business. Now, if the government itself was doing it, that'd be a little bit different for me. But having said that, I think you saw this sort of snowball effect. It was like sort of one or two companies or one or two people, personalities, whatever, that really came out strong against him. And I think understandably so, right, for the things that he said about Sandy Hook. I understand people wanting to be seen as opposing that. But I think it just sort of snowballed, and it just really got to where, well, so-and-so's doing it, I have to do it. Well, Google's doing it, so Amazon has to do it, or whatever, And so I just think it's this huge sort of snowballed virtue signaling is how he ended up where he's at right now. But that's my personal opinion. He and I have never talked about that.
I think one of the interesting things, though, is you mentioned, it's a private company doing it, not the government. But what we've learned with the Twitter files and what we've learned with the Facebook files and all these leaked documents is that the government's very involved in these big tech social media companies. And when I saw all of the companies turn on him at once on the same day, it was hard for me to believe that there wasn't some sort of collusion, at least with these companies together at the same time.
There probably was. I wouldn't doubt it. And one other thing I wanted to touch on that you had some quotes there, or some clips from his interview with Tucker, which I have not watched. I haven't seen it. So the only thing I know about it was listening to you this morning. But at least the Alex I knew in the 90s, voracious reader. He would read these very obscure journals, economic journals, things like that, just things that you'd never heard of that were back then hard to get. We're talking printed periodicals, right? Because I know this is hard to imagine to your listeners, but there was life before the internet.
I know it, right?
It didn't happen until the late 90s. That's like when it was in its infancy. So there was almost no going on the internet doing research. Like, this would be trips going to UT library and finding these obscure periodicals, or going to these bookstores that had these obscure magazines that he'd be reading just constantly and using that for show prep, because he had an FM talk show back then too. And so yes, very, very, very avid read. The other thing I would say is his predictions, and I'm sure he would agree with this, are largely, the saying, there's sort of nothing new anymore. So he's a big, like me, he's a big history buff. So you can sort of like look back on history, and then you can say, oh, well, this is just that same thing sort of happening again. It may be modernized. It maybe have
some
more
people
tech
some
involved.
people say history repeats itself. I like to think history rhymes.
Yeah, Hegelian philosophy is a big thing of his. If you
Problem,
look at
reaction,
it's
solution.
Friedrich Hegel. Yeah, or actually what Hegel called it was thesis, antithesis, synthesis, but it's the same concept, and we see that repeated over and over again. The biggest disagreements he and I would have were more like, I would always tell him, you too quickly dismiss randomness and stupidity, Alex. His default is, well, it's a conspiracy, right? There's people behind it. There's powers that be. And I'm like, there's a lot of randomness and stupidity that people try and take advantage of. And I just think he too sort of quickly dismisses some of that.
Totally. And I think a lot of people just can't get past his delivery of the message at the same time as well.
Can I tell you one other thing about him that what made his Access show so popular at first? When he first started Access TV in Austin, he was his own Access TV producer. I won't get into the mechanics of how you did that, but it was pretty simple, and you had your own show, and you had to do so many hours of live content per week and so many hours of taped content to meet all the criteria. So what he would do is he would sit in the control room, and he would roll the camera out of the studio because he was literally by himself. And he'd roll the camera into the control room and do this really tight shot of his face, right? Like so that you couldn't see all the controls and stuff. And he would do his typical politics things, and he would occasionally go on these rants. And so I always just sort of visualized these people sitting around watching Access TV at 2 a.m, watching a tape show or something of him, high as a kite, and watching this super tight shot of his face and him just going on a rant. And they loved him for it. Nobody had ever seen anything like that, these rants, and so many of them were just on point. And that's how he got his FM radio show, and that's how he got to be sort of this local, I don't know if celebrity is the right word, but local following there in Austin. That's how it happened, was him doing tight shots of his face at Access TV, producing his own show.
Hey, I appreciate your call, Steve. Thanks so much for chiming in with that info. It's interesting. It's totally interesting. It is 10:25. Wow, we are running way late on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're broadcasting live from Are we still there? It's Columbia. We're broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. Come see us. Bring a gently used coat so we can donate it and benefit the kids in Metro Nashville. Come hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Punch it. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friend Jan Whitfield and Dental Plans with Jan. Listen, if you own a small business and you don't have dental and vision for your employees, you should really fix that. It's a way to make your employees feel valued and appreciated. Just a small way to say thank you to your employees. And plus, in this current economic climate, I know that retention of your employees is tough. I know it's not easy, and they're always looking for a better gig. But you know what might keep your employees with you a little bit longer? Dental and vision plans. And with a 15-minute call to my friend Jan Whitfield, you have a easy, affordable, reputable dental plan. This is a win-win for you and your employees, and your employees will be eligible for full benefits the day they enroll, plus no enrollment fees. Now, the plans are affordable, $27 to $39 per month, depending on what benefits they're looking for and how many employees are enrolled in the plan. Plus, your employees and you can add spouses and dependents if the group is more than 10 people, and orthodontics are available, and you know how expensive braces are. So if you got full-time employees, if you have more than 2 full-time employees, if they're working more than 30 hours a week, you got to call Jan Whitfield in Dental Plans with Jan. Whether you own a salon, a landscape, maybe a moving company, whatever business you may own, call Jan Whitfield. Get your employees dental and vision. The number, 615-974-9655, 615-974-9655, or online, dentalplanswithjan.com.
I-24 toward Chattanooga is closed at the Rutherford County, Bedford County line due to a crash. Deputies rerouting traffic there at the Buchanan Road exit onto Highway 41 and 70. Hunter Biden facing more federal charges. Contaminated fruit making more people sick. These stories and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 10:29 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We are broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. Come see us. We're down here until noon. It's Chris Hand, and I want you to bring a gently used coat, some winter wear, maybe buy some new socks. So that way we can donate them to this great nonprofit by the name of Unicycle, and we can help out some kids in Nashville, make sure that they are warm all winter long. We can't do it without you, so come see us at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood with Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Again, 24 eastbound is going to be closed at the Rutherford County, Bedford County line. There is a crash there. Deputies working it. They're working to get people off of the interstate there at the Buchanan Road exit onto Highway 4170 to get around it. Got the full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Hunter Biden facing 9 additional federal criminal charges involving a failure to pay $1.4 million in taxes. Legal expert Dan Abrams says a plea deal unlikely.
We were talking about 2 misdemeanor counts and no time. Now we're talking about, just in this case, 3 felonies, 6 misdemeanors. In the other case, a felony. You're talking about the possibility now of decades behind bars. I mean, these are very serious cases, and I think that President Biden, at some point, is going to have to think long and hard about the possibility of a pardon.
Now, so far, no comment from the White House. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. We know that diversification is an important part of the investing process, but how do you reduce risk of a portfolio through diversification? Well, you use correlations. Now think of bathing suit sales and suntan oil sales. They tend to move together, right? Think of bathing suit sales versus winter coat sales. More dissimilar movement, and that's the idea. But why is diversification so important? Well, think about it this way. Everybody would like to have this happen with their investments. They just go straight up. But what we know is this is really what tends to happen. Markets may go way up and then down, or down, then way up. Now let's say if we isolate parts of that curve right there, and the first curve right there, and the second curve right there. If you're putting money away for retirement, every time you put money in, if this is what's going on, you're buying more shares. Then just before you retire, the market goes up, you're really happy. If on the other hand, you keep paying a higher and higher price, and then the market goes down, you're really sad. And we can't choose what's going to happen with the market next. But what we can do is what we know through academic research, and there are Nobel Prizes awarded for this, is we can look for things that tend to move in dissimilar fashion. And what happens when we do that, we can reduce the volatility of the portfolio, hence bringing those curves in. Now, that's the idea. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing and financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
Quick Mac, fact check snow. It's getting so cold outside, and it's time for you to make sure your heating system has been serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way. Hey, it's Chris Hand for Busy Bee HVAC. Do not wait for a problem to pop up with your heat this time of year. Be proactive. Keep your unit in tip-top shape, or as the former president, number 45, would say, tippy-toppy shape. Whether you need annual maintenance, a repair, or replacement heating and air system, call who I trust, Busy Bee HVAC. You are not going to find a better value on replacement systems. Plus, Busy Bee HVAC offers up to 12 months, no payment, no interest with approved credit. It pays in so many ways to sign up for the annual maintenance on your heating and air system from Busy Bee. And for added rewards and savings, sign up to be a Beehive member. My wife, so excited that we're members of the Beehive family. You get thorough annual maintenance on your heating and air at the beginning of each heating and cooling season for just $99 per year per unit. No overtime charges 24/7 and 10% off all repairs. Remember, they have convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls, and you'll never be left out in the cold. Busy Bee HVAC, your Rude Pro partner. For satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee HVAC, 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
You look at the trajectory of this, how they're escalating on Trump, whether you love him or hate him. He's now a populist icon. He's now the underdog. The globalists are coming after him. They're coming after our right to vote for who we want. He gets 60% against
which is the fundamental right in a democracy. The people rule. I can vote for whomever I want. And if you don't like that person, that's immaterial.
Absolutely.
Right?
And he's been indicted for saying they're stealing elections. They're stealing it.
Oh, I'm aware.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And there are indictments of him. Is
Absolutely.
election theft, but yes.
So But despite that, he's got 60% against all other Republicans. He's 15, 20 points ahead of Biden. It's backfired, but the deep state's not going to stop. So when you said to Trump several times in that 400 million views or whatever you got, biggest show ever, you said to him, well, isn't the next thing them trying to kill you? And he's so confident he doesn't want to think about that. And
he doesn't want to think about it.
Whereas I admire someone that's that confident. The deep state does kill people, and that's their only next move because this is failing. And I think they're going to kill Biden too.
That was Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson on the Tucker Carlson show. The interview was released last night on Twitter. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out. It is 90 minutes of whoa. That's the best way I could describe it. 90 minutes of whoa. Super Talk 99.7 WTN 1038. Chris Hand broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're doing a holiday coat drive. So we want you to come out, bring a gently used coat so that we can make sure the kids in Nashville this winter are nice and warm. Skip your lunch break today. If you're going out to lunch and you're in Brentwood, skip your lunch break. Even if you don't have a coat, skip your lunch break. Come down here, buy a pair of socks, and donate those. We would love to see you at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're also taking all of your calls. Mac, I lost my phone screen. Is Dave, our favorite Hebrew, still on the line?
Oh, you know it.
Ah, Dave. Dave is always there. He's clutch. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, man?
How are you, sir?
I'm ailing after that god-awful football game last night.
Oh, yeah. My Patriots beat your Steelers.
Yeah. The Steelers managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory once again.
You love it. You love to see it. If the Patriots don't win another game all year, at least they beat the Steelers, right?
Yeah. Hey, you got to hang your hat on something, right?
Hey, that's it. That was our Super Bowl. Hey, so what are your thoughts on Alex Jones in this Tucker Carlson interview?
Well, I've never been the biggest Alex Jones fan, just because sometimes I've thought that his conspiracies have kind of tiptoed right up to the edge of, the mass Zionist fleecing of the world type conspiracies. Mm-hmm. And, I've always said, when people bring stuff like that up, I must have missed my mass Zionist fleecing of the world email account because I never get my cut.
So it's so funny you say that. I had a friend I work with at Turning Point USA. She's no longer there. She was Jewish. She's like my least favorite conspiracy is that Jews run the world because I never get an email.
Yeah, I don't get my cut. I'm not,
yeah,
I
still so funny.
Struggle paycheck to paycheck. I want my cut.
Yeah, it's so funny.
The thing about Alex Jones is, I've told you before, I love history, and I've been a Glenn Beck fan for a long time, just because he ties history into a lot of what's going on now, and I've always kind of viewed quotes as Cliff's Notes of history. And Sir Francis Bacon once said, "A forbidden writing is thought to be a certain spark of truth that flies up in the face of those who seek to tread it out." Mm. And nothing could be more true than with a guy like Alex Jones. And, to tie Glenn Beck into it just a little bit, long ago when I was during the Tea Party, when I first started listening to him and he talked about the theory of the Overton window, how, what once was deemed so far bat caca crazy.
Yep.
Now it's normal.
Yeah, and the Overton window, window for everybody that doesn't know is it's basically the window of what is acceptable discussion. And on the right there's extremes, on the left there's extremes, and the shifting of the Overton window is what we're allowed to talk about. So like in the 90s, to say a boy could become a girl, that was outside of the Overton window. That was too extreme, but the Overton window has shifted so far left now that is a mainstream talking point. So I just wanted to give a little brief on what the Overton window is. Continue, my favorite Hebrew.
Yeah, it's just, certainly that quote by Sir Francis Bacon, but there's another one from I like to call him the original conservative, and for a time after my dad died, I didn't exactly have the best relationship with God, but I kept my politics the same, and I'm religious again, but I was able to kind of, you can still be conservative, at least at that point in my life, and kind of conservatism predates Christianity even, because if you read anything that Cicero wrote, it's like reading a Roman Rush Limbaugh, or a Roman Alan Dershowitz, for lack of that matter. And one of my favorite quotes of his is, "When you have no basis for argument, abuse the plaintiff." And that's all this is. When they deplatform Alex Jones, when they are going after Trump and they're trying to crucify him for creep with intent to crawl, it is exemplary of that very quote. When you have no basis for argument, abuse the plaintiff. That's all. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's why censor people. I don't like censorship. Even if you don't like what he has to say, why censor people?
Exactly.
That's so un-American. Everybody should have the right to say what they want.
Exactly. It's that old tired phrase, "I may despise what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it." And that's what true Americanism is. That I can think of, other than the Second Amendment, I can think of nothing more American than defending people you disagree with right to say stuff that you disagree with.
100%. I appreciate the call, Dave. Thanks for always tuning in and adding your input to the show. We really appreciate you, bud. All right, so I got a text here. First, I had a text from, was it 0291, asking about the address of the Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood for our holiday coat drive, which is happening right now, 330 Franklin Road, Suite 899. 330 Franklin Road. We're asking you to bring your gently used coats, winter wear. You can buy some socks, and we can donate it all so that way no kid goes cold this winter in Nashville. We are talking about the Tucker Carlson Alex Jones interview. Pat is next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Pat, what are your thoughts on what we're hearing with the Tucker Carlson Alex Jones interview?
Who?
Hey, Pat, what's up?
Oh, hi. Well, I'll tell you, I think it's very interesting, this whole discussion this morning. And that thing about the Overton window, I never heard of that before. But it's interesting because I think it can be applied to a lot of things in our world.
Yeah.
But I was listening to one gentleman, he said something about the government involvement. And I believe the majority of folks really don't have any idea how much the government is involved in things in our lives. And I think if people would take the time to read and learn, they would be not so pleasantly surprised. The other thing with the government, when they were talking about FBI not showing up, I kind of believe in this, that if you get too close to the government or to something that we are not supposed to know, then they're not going to bring attention to it. It's like, hide something in plain sight. And that was once done with a plane, actually, and I believe it was the Germans that had this super-duper airplane they came up with, and they put it on display. And nobody realized what they were looking at the time. So there's a lot there. And I do think Alex provides something for us to, well, I enjoy conspiracies because just like Alex's friend said, they do make you think. And when something makes me think enough, and I'm not sure of why or what the answer is, I start looking for books. And it turns out that one book leads to another book and another book. And in the last couple of years or so, I have learned so many things that I wish I didn't know about the government, the deep state. Seriously,
we are two peas in a pod. Then it's I wish I didn't know a lot of this stuff.
People would be just so amazed, and then they would think, well, this can't be. Well, guess what? It's right there in front of you. So
You're
that's my
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Thank you for the call, Pat. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
And to what Pat said about, not knowing these things, it's like we were joking the other day about our birds reel. Well, there was a CIA project to turn birds into drones so that way they could spy on communists. These things happen. You don't know about this stuff until we talk about it, and you're able to have these discussions. 9939 texted in, said, "Never heard of smart dust until now. Spent a few minutes reading about it. That's really scary. Makes me want to check for dust in my house from now on." And it's so true. These things aren't mainstream, but the info's out there if you want to look for it. The info is there if you want to do some digging. But a lot of people don't want to do digging. A lot of people want to be force-fed the information, and you cannot agree with everything Alex says. I don't think you should agree with anything anyone agree with everything anyone says. There's nobody that I agree with 100% on every single issue, every single topic. And that's just being human. But when you listen to Alex Jones, you don't have to agree with him for him to get you thinking. And I think that the thinking is the most important part. It's interesting. It's fascinating. Now, him and Tucker, they're going back and forth, and one of the things that Alex Jones says, which had been echoed by Tucker during the interview with President Trump, is that they think the next step would be to assassinate Trump. What does the deep state have left? But Alex says, he's thinking that they might assassinate Biden as well, which was something I hadn't thought about. But in clip 5, Mac, he says, they've flipped on Biden. They've completely flipped on him. Clip 5.
You see the system, the media going after Biden, and he deserves it, but they were covering it up until now. Now they're covering the laptop. Now they're covering attack on the dog. Now they're covering, all of his senility, all the corruption, the Chinese spies.
Attacking a dog. What a pig he is. I'm sorry.
Well, I was told that by Secret Service and by people that, let's just say, work with them. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I actually have a contact for you. I'd like to be able to hear it from them. But when this is over, I'll let you actually hear it from yourself. I think they'll tell you off record. I think they're willing to talk to you. But yeah, he is completely out of his mind. He wanders around for the entire 2.5 years. It's getting worse. Naked in the White House. In the middle of the night, doesn't know who he is. They have to give him a bunch of drugs, a bunch of amphetamines in the morning. Then they've got to drug him at night. Sometimes he's got to, he'll be out for the morning for a while and then comes back out at night for a ball. That's when there's a real problem.
He is on drugs. I have established that. And I know someone who witnessed it. I'm not guessing at this. I know someone personally who witnessed him taking amphetamines. And this was during the 2020 election.
Fascinating stuff. But we are seeing that they're flipping on Biden. We are seeing the left-wing media, the Mockingbird media complex turning on Biden. And we see it just last night with new indictments of Hunter Biden. Hey, real quick, before we hit the break, let's go to Eric next. You're on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Eric?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call. I heard that Washington, D.C. is going to cancel their play where they celebrate the birth of Jesus that has the nativity scene in it.
Really? Why?
Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
They're saying, I guess they can't find 3 wise men.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you hanging on the line. That was gold. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Again, we are out at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We want you to come join us. Donate a gently used coat, some winter wear, gloves, hats. Maybe buy some new socks so you can donate as well. If you're out on your lunch break, skip lunch today. Come see us at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. The address for your GPS is 330 Franklin Road, Suite 899. 330 Franklin Road, Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're going to be here till noon. Come see us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
chance for severe weather is increasing in Middle Tennessee. We still have eastbound 24 shut down there at the Rutherford County, Bedford County line for a crash. These stories and more, well, actually, we'll get you some stories outside of weather and traffic coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's an agenda-free Friday on the Chris Hand Show. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Steven real quick. You're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Chris. Love your show. Just want to let you know, Hunter Biden's not going to jail.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Democrat. And Daddy's going to pardon him. The only way he would go to jail is if this court case drags out till Trump becomes president, and Trump won't pardon him. Otherwise, he's going to get a slap on the wrist. Daddy's going to say, "You're pardoned," and that's it.
I'm with you, and part of me goes, oh, great, new indictments. Now he's going to have, all the rights in the world to plead the fifth to not incriminate himself on December 13th when he goes in front of Comer.
Yeah, but if Daddy does pardon him, it's going to be the end of his candidacy.
Yeah, I mean, geez. It's so weird. It's like, if Biden, I don't think Biden could get away with pardoning him if he's running. But if Biden's not running and he pardons him, like I don't know which one we'd rather have. Do you want Hunter Biden to go to jail and Joe Biden to run and lose the election, or do you want Joe to step down, pardon Hunter, and we have to deal with a Gavin Newsom?
But he loves his son. He'll pardon him.
I think that's the only thing that I believe he was found guilty of is just loving his son too much. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver with the latest headlines.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like they have reopened 24 eastbound there at the Rutherford County, Bedford County line where a crash had it closed. Still going to be very slow going through there. Looks like that thing may have backed up all the way to Joe B. Jackson Parkway there in Murfreesboro. Storms are coming. They could go severe. The Storm Prediction Center puts parts of Middle Tennessee west of 65 at a 5% chance of tornadoes tomorrow around dinner time. It is low, but we can't rule it out. ABC News legal expert Dan Abrams weighs in now that the special counsel David Weiss has announced 9 new charges against President Biden's son Hunter, which alleges Hunter spent over $1 million that was supposed to go to the IRS.
As a legal matter now, it's tough, meaning his best argument is he should never have been charged. Now that he has been charged, he's in a tough spot. These cases can be hard to defend. They're going to be able to say, we have the documents, we have the paperwork that proves he didn't pay his taxes and that he had the money to pay his taxes.
Abrams says these charges carry penalties of decades behind bars. Right now in Rutherford County, school shooter safety training slated to start in January for all of the nearly 6,000 teachers in the Rutherford County School District. Fox 17 says the school board last night voted to approve a $147,000 contract for training offered by Defend Systems. And a bill in Tennessee aims to put age verification restrictions on pornography websites. News 2 says data for Google Trends, essentially how many people are Googling the word porn, put Tennessee in the top 5 in 2013 when restrictions were in place for internet access and above the U.S. average in 2023. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Today's show happened because I saw a comment. He said, why don't you do something on doves and dove fields and how to find them and things like that. So
yeah, all right.
Good idea. It's past opening day, but like you said, it can work.
Yeah.
Because the season is long. It runs for 90 days and there's 3 segments, so we're going to cover all that today. Let's rattle off the season. September 1 through September 28th is the first segment of Dove, and then October 14th through November 5th, and then December 8th through January 15th. 15 is your bag limit. So September 1 is opening day, and that's at noon in Tennessee.
September 1st has been one of those days. I mean, you'll see guys. I mean, they'll take off work. Have big big cooking and getting together with friends, and it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
Historically, it's a huge social event. I'd say the majority of the hunters probably hunt opening day, opening weekend, and then won't pick up a shotgun until next year. So,
we have 2 other segments besides this one, running in October, and then even all the way through, January 15th. There's a lot of opportunity throughout the year.
On our website, tnwildlife.org, on our homepage, you can click the button there to dove hunting info and fields is what the button's titled. It's got all the information on dove hunting. You can find the fields there. So let's talk about how to find a field. You click on Region 2, it pulls up the options that are available, and get down to Bark Camp Barrens, and you see it's open statewide. So the hunting's not over there. There's still opportunity. Even though we had a big opening day, let it die down a little bit and get back in there. You're going to have some good hunting, I think, there, sounds like, anyway.
Hey, with all the rainfall coming after the storm gets cleared, what you need to do is go down in your crawl space and see if you have any standing water. I know the storms are coming, but this is a perfect time to poke your head in your crawl space and see if you have any water or moisture. And if you do, you need to call the guys at USS, United Structural Systems. Now, when I met these guys, they told me that in their industry, you don't know you need them until you know you need them. So when the rain comes through, poke your head in your crawl space. Do you see any standing water? Have you noticed wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floor? Well, that's your house trying to tell you something, and the guys at USS, they'll come through, check it out, and give you a custom plan to fix whatever ails your home. They have 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up in Middle Tennessee, and they've been doing it since the early 90s. Whatever you may need, foundation repair, sinkhole repair, basement wall realignment, crawl space encapsulation, the guys at USS, United Structural Systems, are happy to help you and make a custom plan for your home. So call USS today, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855, or online, USSTN.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We are broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We're here for a holiday coat drive. I love the fact that this station and our listeners always step up to the plate. So excited to be here. We're making sure that no kid in Middle Tennessee is cold this winter in the metro Nashville area, and we need your help to do it. We're asking that you come through, donate a gently used and clean coat or jacket, maybe some gloves, cold weather gear. And if you don't have any of that on you, you're on your lunch break in Brentwood, come through and buy a pair of socks. You can donate that as well. Their goal was 200 coats. They're halfway there. And I think we can blow that out of the water. They're going to be accepting donations through the 17th. But today, we are doing this live until noon, and we want you to come through, bring a gently used coat, and donate it. That way, again, we can donate these coats to Unicycle, and they will distribute them through Metro Nashville for all sorts of kids that are looking for a nice, warm coat this holiday season. My wife, I have to shout out my wife, Virginia, one more time. Last night, while we were at Scoreboard in Cedar Creek Marina in Mount Juliet, we had the best time. My wife piled up 4 kids in the car and drove around Murfreesboro collecting coats from my kids' friends. So she put 4 kids in the car, drove around Murfreesboro, collected coats. So I want to say thank you to Virginia. I also want to say thank you to all of our friends that donated coats. We are greatly appreciative of you. And I want to say thank you to the people that have come through and donated coats so far today. We've had quite a few people come through, but we're waiting for you. We're at 330 Franklin Road in Brentwood at Columbia Sportswear, and we hope that you can come through and donate a coat or buy some socks and donate that. That way, again, no kid in Metro Nashville will be cold this holiday season. As we continue, it is an agenda-free Friday on the Chris Hand Show. We ask that you bring whatever topics you want to bring to the table. Let's have a conversation. I've been playing audio from what I think is one of the most fascinating interviews I've seen in a while. Tucker Carlson had Alex Jones on his show last night. And I think it's fascinating. They talk about a number of things, from Tucker being deplatformed to they talk about why he was deplatformed. They talk about his uncanny predictions, how he predicted 9/11 in July of 2001. They talk about the upcoming election. And one of the things they talk about is that Alex Jones says both Biden and Trump are liabilities to the deep state, which I thought was fascinating. Mac, if you can cue up clip 6, Alex says Biden and Trump are liabilities to the deep state.
Biden's a liability for him. Trump's a liability. What do? They have a right-winger, they'll claim, assassinate Biden, and they'll have a left-winger assassinate Trump. That then gets the country even in more of a fight against each other. And then they put in Gavin Newsom and, somebody like Mike Pence or who knows. But I really think the next 13 months is the most critical time, not just in American history, but world history. Because if they can bring down America, they're going to bring down the world. And then you've got the escalation. Remember a year ago, Biden said, you can't give F-16s and Abrams tanks and cruise missiles to the Ukrainians. That's World War III. Now they're doing it. So as Russia wins that war, as Colonel McGregor documented a few months ago with you, NATO is escalating. Well, that leads right to nuclear war. So we're so close. That fundamentally makes me so mad. This transcends politics.
It does transcend politics. It does. I actually just got some news, and I got a text here, and it's Agenda Free Friday, so we got to cover it. Kat texted and said, Owen was released. How have you not told us? Owen Schroyer has been released from prison. He is an InfoWars host. It kind of goes in line with what we've been talking about as far as Alex Jones. This is a host, Owen Schroyer, who was at January 6th, didn't go in the Capitol building, and was sentenced to prison for it. But he has now been released. I'll find some info on that as we continue. He shared a message. The account shared a message before he was released from jail. And I'm going to try and find that message. He said that he was finding it right now. I'm so sorry. He said, I've never been more driven or purpose-filled all my life. A previously unknown force within me has been ignited. May God have mercy upon my enemies because I won't. That was Owen Schroyer's account, what they posted right before he was released. Apparently, he has been released. I think he has a right to be angry. I don't. It's that was posted on his X account at Owen Schroyer 1776. That the account was run by Owen Schroyer before he turned himself in. But we are seeing political persecution all over the place for wrongthink. We don't see persecution for the people that burned down buildings during the Summer of Love. We don't see persecution for the deep state. We see indictments for Hunter Biden, but does anybody really believe that he's going to be going to jail? Really? And I've been talking about this Tucker and Alex Jones interview because I think it's fascinating, and I'm not the only one who was interested about it. Elon Musk on Twitter last night was pretty interested about it. In fact, ALX tweeted, Alex Jones says he hopes Elon Musk will watch the interview with Tucker Carlson. Elon Musk replied that he will hear him out. Elon said he'll hear him out. Now, a lot of people want Alex Jones back on Twitter. Would you want Alex Jones back on Twitter? 615-737-9986. I want to know what you think. Let's go to Dave in Hendersonville. You're up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. This Alex Jones, I listen to him. He says some outrageous stuff, but he's got a lot of stuff right. And what I'm hearing from people calling in or tweeting or texting in, coming from conservatives, I'm hearing a lot of liberalness. It's okay, they don't. If what I'm getting from them, it's okay if they like it. If they don't, they want to get rid of him, and that's what liberals do. And that's not right. And I've got a.
Go ahead, Dave.
I got a question for you too.
Yeah.
That was a comment, and I got a question for you. And this would be a question for everybody out there, too. You believe in the Constitution?
Yes, sir.
100%.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Greatest document ever written.
Exactly, it is. All right. Our next election, if they happen to be able to win, and I'm doing this in air quotes, people in this country better think about our constitutional right to remove the government because they are not working for us. If we do not, we're done. Done. Period. Done. There will not be another election. Period.
I get that people are upset. I mean, I'm not gonna go.
It doesn't have anything to do with being upset, Chris. This has to do with our country.
I hear what you're saying. I don't think we're at full 1776 yet, and I think that we're going to see a lot of positive results. I think we're trending in a direction where we're going to see positive results in this election. Lord willing, fingers crossed. I think that Trump has an opportunity to win. I think we have an opportunity to make gains in the House and in the Senate. And I think a lot of people are waking up because at the end of the day, if you're not paying attention to what's going on, you're feeling it in your wallet.
We're heading 1776 so fast it make my head spin. Make your head spin. I mean, look what they have done to this country in 3 years.
And it's been they have trashed the country in 3 years. It has been quick. I can't disagree with that. Thank you for the call, Dave. I really do appreciate you. You know, as the conversation goes on, one of the points Dave made about the Constitution, you know, I think it's important that we do still have a right to free speech in this country. Alex Jones was kicked off Twitter, and I think one of the important things a lot of people don't realize is that they think he was deplatformed over Sandy Hook. He was deplatformed on Twitter because he went after a CNN reporter. And when he went after a CNN reporter, he wasn't the person that filmed the video. He wasn't the person that posted the video. But that's why he was removed from Twitter. Now, last night online, Elon Musk said that he's considering bringing back Alex Jones to Twitter. He said that he's going to run a poll to decide, which I think is fascinating. Let the people decide. Let the people decide. Last night, again, Elon Musk announced that he's considering reinstating Alex Jones in his account on X. He said he will consider in general, since this platform aspires to be the global town square, permanent bans should be extremely rare. Also, if he does say something false on the platform, community notes will correct him, whereas that would not be the case elsewhere. Let's hold a poll. And I can't help but agree with that. Personally, I think he should be back on Twitter. I think that everybody should have the right to free speech, and I don't care if you don't like it, what they're saying. There are a lot of liberals that I don't like what they say, and I don't think that they should be deplatformed or silenced. Let them speak. Let the crazy ideas speak for themselves. What do you think? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I think that it's time to let these ideas be vetted. You can't just silence people because you don't like them. Elon Musk seems to think the same thing. Elon Musk seems to think the same thing. I think it's important, and we're lucky to have Elon in charge of a big social media platform like this. And again, even a guy like Elon Musk, I don't agree with everything he says all the time. I've said on numerous occasions, I'm not sure that he is the savior that some people claim him to be. But he's doing a lot of right. I said earlier today, there's not one person on the planet Earth that I think I'm going to agree with on 100% of debates and topics. That goes for Elon. That goes for Alex Jones. That goes for Tucker Carlson. But I don't think that silencing them or shouting them down or calling them evil is the right way to go. And I think people are waking up about this. I know that liberals are waking up about it because even if they're low IQ and they're not paying attention to the news, they're feeling it in their wallet. During the Tucker-Alex Jones interview, Alex brought up the fact that he thinks it's dawning on Democrats that they've been betrayed. Mac, if you can clue up clip 7. He says it's dawning on them. They're starting to wake up to this. Clip 7.
I think it's dawning on Democrats they've been betrayed. And maybe there's some point where Democrats will have self-preservation, the average voter, and say, no, we need to turn against this. This is totalitarian. This is dangerous. This is evil. But if that isn't the case, but here's the problem. Even if Democrats wake up, the system will know that from their internal polls. The establishment will, and they're going to make a big move. And is that a full-out war with Russia? A full-out war with China? Is it them allowing the jihadi sleeper cells? They're in America that have poured across our border, that are waiting to let them activate. And I'm not saying our government controls them, but they've let other governments bring them in. And they've given funding to those governments. And now if we don't see strong signals against Iran, I don't want war with Iran. What I'm saying is strong signals telling Iran, do not fund terror groups, and we don't see strong repudiation of Joe Biden, that will greenlight the security services to go ahead and let this new attack happen. And a massive jihadi attack in America could be the way to bring in martial law and cancel the election.
Now, again, I'm not going to agree with everything Alex Jones says. I don't think that our intelligence services would greenlight that and let it happen. But I think that there's a lot of truth in there. There's a nugget of truth in there. We all know that known suspected terrorists are crossing our border. We know that Chinese nationals are coming across our open border. We all kind of feel like we're waiting for another shoe to drop when it comes to a terror attack in this country. I've felt like that for a while. I've said it on my show numerous times. I feel like we're waiting for another shoe to drop. This southern border is wide open. Wide open. So while I don't agree with everything that he's saying there is a grain of truth there. And to somebody that's not paying attention, he's making them think about it. I think that's important. I think conversations are important. And I think these conversations need to be had. Again, do I think the intelligence services are going to greenlight it and let it happen? No, I don't think that would be the case. I hope that wouldn't be the case. But I think we all agree we're looking at that southern border and we're waiting for another shoe to drop. We see what's happening on our college campuses. We see what's happening with these pro-Palestinian protests, with the radical element of the left, and I think a lot of people are waiting for another shoe to drop. More of your calls next. Hang out with us. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The president's son facing the potential of decades in prison, and tunnels under Gaza being taken out in the hunt for Hamas. These stories and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 11:24. My name is Chris Hand. We are broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear here in Brentwood, 330 Franklin Road. I want you to come out and see us. We are asking for you to bring a gently used coat to donate, or some winter wear, maybe some gloves. Maybe buy some socks if you don't have a coat on you. If you're on your lunch break in Brentwood and you want to come see us at Columbia Sportswear, you can buy socks here and you can donate those. So that way no kid in Metro Nashville will be cold this holiday season, this winter. And I know that the WTN audience shows up when we ask. We've had listeners coming by all day, and we appreciate you guys from the bottom of our heart. I mean, you've been showing up every single time we've asked this month. Whether it was the Nashville Rescue Mission, Toy Field, and now today at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. And we thank you for that. We really do. It's an agenda-free Friday, taking your phone calls at 615-737-9986. Mac, the caller who wants to talk about jihad attacks, I can't see my screen. I lost it.
This is Joe. This is one of my buddies. He's actually he's actually in my neck of the woods right now. He's calling from Kansas.
Oh, Joe. What's up, Joe? You're next on Super Talk.
Not what is up, the super dopest dude on the radio there.
Super dope.
Thank you. What's going on, Joe?
Super dope. Well, hey, man, a couple of things, really. One is, how could a person donate to the coat drive? Could we call up the sports center there and buy, like 12 bags of socks to donate or something like that?
Yeah, I bet you could,
if
actually.
we're out on the road.
Yeah, let me find a number for you. If you want to do that, I bet you they would be happy to do that.
Well, just shoot it to me on the text. Yeah, shoot it to me on the text line. It's 2213 is the last four. I think you guys have had it before on there.
Okay, perfect. Well, let me say the number on air because it's actually a good idea. The number here is 615-882-3040. 615-882-3040. We'll text it to you as well because I bet you a lot of people might want to do that. So that's actually a smart idea. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, like a hoodie or coat or pair of socks. We could do it right there at the store. And if you're on the road and you can't get by there.
Yeah, man, appreciate
that.
Now,
going back to what you were saying about the green light stuff, a couple of things that I've been listening to this whole week about what they're doing. First, I don't think it's necessarily, is it about the votes and letting all these people across the border? Well, that's a green light right there, Chris. They're letting all these people in. If we ever had to go to war with Mexico with 8 million new people coming across the border from Mexico, and it's going to be 8 million by the time he gets out of office, would they actually fight against the people down there that they're running away from and wouldn't fight against and fix their own country?
Yeah.
Or would they fight for us or would they fight against us?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. And you hear Dick Durbin saying that he wants to let illegal aliens join the military for a pathway to citizenship at the same time.
Right, and everybody thinks it's about the vote. Well, do the math on it. And I did it just in the last couple of days. 8 million people, they take out about 21, 22% out of my check every week. 15% is about the going thing. When I had my businesses out in Texas, we had to pay 7.5% of the federal income tax. The employee paid 7.5%. 15% is about the going rate, not counting your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and any state taxes. But Texas is one like Tennessee, no state tax. 15%. Let's say the person makes $40,000 a year. It comes up to about $6,000 a year per person. Multiply that times 8 million. That's $48 billion that they have to spend. It's not necessarily about even if you take $24 billion of that and pour it back into the welfare system, because some of them are going to be on welfare and collect state aid, food stamps, so forth and so on. They've got $24 billion free dollars to spend. Why wouldn't they let them in and let them take jobs? And on the green light stuff, going a step further, they've done it before, Chris. The Bay of Pigs was all green lighted. That's the reason why I believe they killed Kennedy. Is he said, "Not on my watch." I mean, that's a famous line from JFK. Was they brought to him a scenario, and you can do the research on it.
Operation Northwoods.
They were going to land 3 planes down in Miami, call it a terror attack, load them with cadavers and clothing, blow the 3 planes up and then go attack Cuba, say it was a Cuba terrorist attack. When Kennedy said, no, not on my watch, well, then they came up with the Bay of Pigs, and we got busted right in the middle of it. That is a green light. So, yeah, they green light anything they can to get their way, to stay in power, to keep the money coming and the votes.
Yeah. I mean,
they got transgenders in the military. We're doing transgender surgeries in the military. They're fixing to use, even though I'm against abortion. I mean, I'm pro-choice. Don't have sex. Don't have a baby out of wedlock, and you don't have to worry about it. But now they're going to pay for people to go get abortions in other states if they're serving in the military. I mean, that's our tax dollars. That's my money, your money, paying for those procedures.
They're paying for top surgeries for transgenders. They're paying for all sorts of the sex change operations as well.
So right, and so as the last caller said, it's 1776. At what time do we? And me and you had this conversation before. I asked you about 50 times on one call. So what do we do, Chris? What do we do, Chris?
Listen, I wish that I had better answers for you. I just think at this time, I do still have hope that the election will go our way. I do still have hope, but I think that the American people are waking up, and I think people like you are a good example of that. People are paying attention a lot more now than they ever were, and I really appreciate your call. I really do. It's 11:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver with the latest headlines.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Legal experts say these 9 new charges against Hunter Biden could result in decades behind bars under convictions. Pierre Thomas says Hunter Biden's attorneys are pushing back.
Last night, attorney Abby Lowell released this statement to ABC News saying, quote, based on the facts and the law, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the charges in Delaware and now California would not have been brought.
And Israel-Hamas war. James Longman reporting there are explosions in northern Gaza as tunnels and other Hamas infrastructure are destroyed.
A U.S. official tells ABC News Israel is considering pumping seawater into the tunnels below Gaza, hoping to degrade Hamas capabilities. But that could also destroy filters that provide drinking water to civilians.
The IDF says they've breached Hamas defense lines in Gaza's second largest city, Khan Yunis. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. We know that diversification is an important part of the investing process, but how do you reduce risk of a portfolio through diversification? Well, you use correlations. Now think of bathing suit sales and suntan oil sales. They tend to move together, right? Think of bathing suit sales versus winter coat sales. More dissimilar movement, and that's the idea. But why is diversification so important? Well, think about it this way. Everybody would like to have this happen with their investments. They just go straight up. But what we know is this is really what tends to happen. Markets may go way up and then down, or down then way up. Now let's say if we isolate parts of that curve right there, and the first curve right there, and the second curve right there. If you're putting money away for retirement, every time you put money in, if this is what's going on, you're buying more shares. Then just before you retire, the market goes up, you're really happy. If on the other hand, you keep paying a higher and higher price, and then the market goes down, you're really sad. And we can't choose what's going to happen with the market next. But what we can do is what we know through academic research, and there are Nobel Prizes awarded for this, is we can look for things that tend to move in dissimilar fashion. And what happens when we do that, we can reduce the volatility of the portfolio, hence bringing those curves in. Now that's the idea. Now, if you want to learn more about our approach to investing and financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
Hey, it's Chris Hand for Paul Winkler, Inc. Now, before I met up with Paul, I didn't have a plan for our financial future, but with 4 kids and, thinking about possibly paying for college or weddings in the future, retirement, it was a big priority for my wife and I, and we're so happy that we've linked up with Paul and his team. I've listened to Paul in his radio show for years, but after I met with him, I realized he's the same guy I heard on the air, smart, honest, super legit. I'm all in with Paul and his team. And they hold themselves to a higher level of fiduciary standard than is required. Because of that, government regulators require that I tell you I'm paid every time this commercial airs. And I am, but that's not why I decided to become a client. I decided to become a client because when I sat down with Paul, broke some bread, and had my financial questions answered, honestly, I was impressed. Paul's a smart guy. He knows the financial world better than I do, and he can break it down for a guy like me to understand. If you need a financial plan for your future, I think you need to link up with Paul Winkler and his team. One of the big things I love is that nothing his team does is done on commission. Nothing they do is done on commission. You can be sure the decisions they're helping you make are for you, not for them. Nothing is done on commission. They are, however, big on education, and he's made my financial goals far more realistic by explaining what to do and why, and explaining every step of the way. Their investment education is evidence-based, backed by Nobel Prize-winning research, and these guys are so smart. Every office is run by a degree planner with over 20 years of experience, and you can feel the difference between Paul's team and the rest because of that experience. Do what I did. Talk to one of his team members today. Set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We're broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, 330 Franklin Road. I got so many people coming by. I got our friend AK over here. He just bought a coat. He came in and bought a coat and donated it. Unbelievable. If you're on your lunch break and you don't have a coat on you, you can still stop by Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. You don't have to buy a coat. Maybe buy a pair of socks. But we're doing all of this to benefit Unicycle and make sure no kid in Metro Nashville this winter is cold. They have a relatively small goal, 200 coats. I think that our listeners on WTN can blow that out of the water. Because every time we've asked you guys to step up this month, you have. And we truly appreciate you for that. Whether it was with Nashville Rescue Mission, whether it was with Toy Field, or whether it's today here at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, you guys have shown up for us and shown up for Nashville every single time we've asked. So, in my best Bernie Sanders impression, I've come to you once again, my friends, and I'm asking for your help and your donations. So if you can, make it out to Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood today. Donate a gently used coat. Donate some winter wear, some gloves, a hat. Buy some new socks. Donate those. It's gonna really make a difference in a kid's life. And we thank you for being a part of this. And we want to see you down here. I'm here till noon, but they're going to be doing this at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood until the 17th. I know that we can absolutely crush their goal of 200 coats. I feel like we can do that in the next 20 minutes if we all step up. My wife, I've been saying this, I've said this a couple times. My wife, she's an angel. She put a post on Facebook, got all of my kids' friends to go in their closet, grab an old coat. A nice coat. But one that doesn't fit. You know how fast kids grow.
Of
we
course,
had some as well. We had some as well. And we had about 15 coats that we brought in.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she was driving around last night all over Murfreesboro picking these coats up. So thank you, Virginia.
Heck yes. Yeah, she's the best.
She's the best. She's the best. So, and our listeners are the best too. And guys like AK, I've had so many listeners come through. I had a listener tell me they feel like I live in their house because I'm always on in the kitchen. So
that's
funny.
Sweet.
I know. It's crazy. One of the best parts about this job is being able to give back, and I knew how big of a family this listening audience is, but I've been blown away this month when you think about what we've been able to do. Truly, it's been an absolute blessing, and we thank you guys from the bottom of our heart for opening up and donating when you can and being a part of this. with us. And again, from Nashville Rescue Mission to Toy Field to today at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, you guys are the best listeners on the planet. We couldn't do any of this without you, and we truly, truly thank you. Seriously. Now, Hunter Biden has been charged. He's got 9 new indictments. Crazy. Indicted on 9 charges, 3 of which are felonies. It's a 56-page indictment filed in federal court in Los Angeles on Thursday, alleging that he spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle. Extravagant. That's how they say he was basically just buying hookers and not paying his taxes. The indictment is also alleging that Hunter willfully failed to pay his 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 taxes on time, despite having access to the funds to pay some or all of these taxes. Neither the White House nor Hunter Biden's attorneys have responded to the indictment. Oh, weird. I was expecting to hear something from them. So they're usually so open and honest about that kind of stuff. So it's weird.
So odd.
Right? I feel like they're usually, right there for it. Don't you agree? Like, they've always been so open and transparent. It's the most transparent administration in history. I saw a tweet from Zero Hedge, and they said Hunter had $1,664,000 in ATM cash withdrawals, spent $683,212 in payments to various women, and $188,000, almost $189,000 on adult entertainment. How does somebody withdraw $1.7 million from an ATM? Isn't there a limit? Like $600 a day? That'd be like 4,000 daily trips for, every day for like 11 years. That's insane. It's insane. So are people using this ATM? It's astonishing. It's astonishing. Let's go to Ray next. You're on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You have a comment on Hunter Biden. What's up, Ray?
Hey, how you doing there, Chris?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Hey, I was just going to mention something about this Hunter Biden thing that I don't know if a lot of people have thought about, but they're going to throw everything they can at him at the book. I mean, they're going to throw everything at him. That way, his father is going to pardon him of it, so nobody else can bring it up. Once he gets a presidential pardon, can't nobody else bring it back up.
Could be. It wouldn't shock me if Joe pardoned him. And you know what? I honestly can't blame him. Like, if one of my kids got in trouble, it would. Yeah, any father would. I know. That's what I always go to. Of course he will. Any father would.
Yes. And I thought about that as well. And also, you had a caller back a few minutes ago that was talking about, the Constitution. And, you played out. I've been listening to Alex Jones for a long time. And
what do you think about him? What's your gut take on Alex?
Alex Jones is he's different, but he has been right about so many things. And the guy is very intelligent. And there's a certain amount of people that just, they're the middle of the road and they don't think, oh, well, that couldn't happen. That's not happening. And not saying these people are not intelligent, and I hate to use the word, but it's a lot of ignorance there that, they don't want to believe. But then when it gets brought out, some people are right there on that level to where they will say, oh, no, that didn't happen. But I see the handwriting on the wall, because this is pretty much all I do is study this stuff, that they are going – the Democrats and the deep state have played their Trump card, literally. They are no longer hiding what we used to have to wonder about. They are going to do whatever they can to stop this election, or they will cheat. But here's the thing about it is, so much emphasis has been brought out on the cheating that they are aware of it. So
and we're seeing a lot of people aware about it. There was a sheriff race in Louisiana that basically they're redoing the entire election because they've caught fraudulent votes. I think there's definitely a lot more eyes on the cheating. Now, I still worry, and DeSantis brought this up at the debate, that we're not doing enough in states where ballot harvesting is legal, that we're not doing enough in states where there's Zuckerbucks being flown. And I think that there's rules that we're going to have to play by. And I said it last night while we were hanging out at Scoreboard with Brian and Dan and Matt. It worries me that even though we know that this is going to happen, that Republicans aren't going to be ready to do the same things that Democrats will be.
Republicans are never ready. They can be laid the golden goose, and they will somehow mess it up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But that's my take on it, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for the call. Mac, who we got next on the phone?
Let's go to Terry. He wants to talk. He's in Murfreesboro. He wants to talk about Alex Jones.
All right, let's go to Terry. What's up, Terry?
Hey, how's it going, Chris? Love your
Good,
show,
man. How are you? Thanks. Did you watch the Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones
man.
interview?
Yeah.
Have you watched?
No, I didn't watch it. But first of all, I'd like to say that I'm probably what they call extremist right or something, because I'm part of the Steve Bannon. I'm part of the Steve Bannon War Room posse.
Hey, nowadays, all it takes to be an extremist is be a Christian and have a family. That's pretty much it.
That's right.
You know, you can be a Catholic in the choir, and the FBI will want to investigate you.
And as far as Alex Jones goes, I've listened to him for quite a while. I even purchased his book, and some things he says might be out there, but that's where common sense comes in. If you got any brains at all, you take things with a grain of salt. But for the most part, Alex has been right on the money on a lot of things. Of course, they've indicted him or whatever, and trying to fine him, sue him, whatever. But I would say Alex Jones has got a pair on him, and he's pretty vocal, but he's on point on a lot of things, man. And,
and I don't think that you have to agree with. I don't think you have to agree with everything Alex Jones says to say that he has a right to say it.
Right.
I appreciate your. What'd you say?
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, brother. Rock on.
Hey, man, I appreciate your call. We got time for one more call. Who we got next, Mac?
Let's go to Logan in Fayetteville. He's talking about DJT.
All right, Logan. What's up? You want to talk about the greatest president of all time?
That's it. I want to talk about the greatest president of all time.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. I'm out here working for nothing, because of Biden.
Yeah, I got you. I feel what you're saying.
Working for nothing. They need to get Trump back in here because he'll make it right for us American workers out here, for the middle class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that we need to make the middle class great again. I think there's one guy for that job, and we've seen his policies in action already. So I think that fingers crossed, the election goes our way in 2024. Hey, I appreciate your call. We'll see what happens in 2024, and if we don't get a big win, I think that it's going to be because the Republican. It'll absolutely hurt the middle class. We've been hurting for 3 years now.
Exactly, because of Biden.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate your call, man.
Why send billions of dollars to a country we're even NATO with? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you know what? I don't understand why we send billions of dollars overseas when we have a wide open southern border. I don't care who it is. I don't want to send it to our friends. I think that we have our own problems at home. We need to put our own oxygen mask on before we fix the world's problems. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Trump needs to get back in here, finish getting that wall done, and drill.
Yes, drill, baby, drill. I appreciate your call. It's 11:49 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We may be checking in with Matt Murphy here in a few moments to see what he's got coming up on his show. But, guys, we are live at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. We are doing a coat drive, a holiday coat drive, asking for you to stop by, bring your gently used coats, donate those, donate some winter wear. If you don't have any donations, if you're on your lunch break in Brentwood, you can buy a coat here. You can buy socks. We'll accept those donations as well. That way we can make sure no child in Metro Nashville goes cold this holiday season. And we heard a story earlier about one of these donated coats and how this little girl was so excited and she loved the coat that she got. And her friends were excited that she had this nice coat. Her friends were almost jealous of this nice coat. And it's because of donations from people like you. So we're asking for your help and your support once again. Come see us, Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I'm broadcasting live from Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood, where we're asking you to come through for the holiday coat drive. Donate a gently used coat for kids in middle Metro Nashville, so that way they don't go cold this winter. Joined, who's in studio, by Matt Murphy. Matt, I just want to say thanks again for the trailer, for lending me the trailer yesterday. For the Christmas tree.
And Chris, I think that people who are out at the event at Scoreboard, Cedar Creek Marina, they fully understand. They get it now. They do. Now. I don't think they fully got it when we were talking about it earlier in the week. But if you were out and about, or if you've seen any of the videos of the event last night, you get it. You understand.
Yeah. And I apologize that the tree made it hard to see us on stage.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those little struggles that we had to deal with from a visual perspective. But it was what a great night. What a great listening audience we have. And Dan Mandis was worried, and we filled the joint. We filled that. We filled the place.
It was an absolute party, and the WTN listeners show up every time we ask. They've been showing up all day here today at Columbia Sportswear in Brentwood too for our coat drive. We have the best listeners.
I had someone hit me up and say, to you, this person wanted to remain anonymous, but said, regarding the WTN coat drive, please encourage folks to go thick, warm, and hoodies, because that's what the tweeners and teenagers wear these days. You're not going to get coats on them if they are dorky coats. Just a suggestion. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty good suggestion. We'll take anything and everything, but
it's a good suggestion. I like that suggestion. Cool coats only. They have to be as Dan would say, super dope.
Super dope.
Super dope.
Speaking of somebody not very, speaking of super dope, literally and figuratively, Hunter Biden, man, come on.
Oh my gosh.
This is like I would suggest, and I'm going to suggest in a moment, that this is a Democrat effort to get him off the ballot, Joe Biden off the ballot. I believe that.
It seems like they've absolutely turned on him. Yeah. They're over it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's running around naked in the White House, according to some. So love it.
Hopped up on amphetamines. All right, Matt Murphy's on his way next. He's going to be taking over noon to 3. Brian Wilson takes you home. Oh, no, Pamela Furr's in for Brian Wilson on the drive. Hang out with us. We got news all day on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.